Yes?
Were you expecting Mr. Bannister, sir?
Good Lord, no.
Well, he's here.
But I'm still on the morning mail.
He gives me the impression, sir, that the mail train itself wouldn't stop him.
Look, tell him I'm out.
Too late, sir. He's in.
Good morning. Well, George, you'll need to be a combination of Perry Mason and King Solomon to get me out of this one.
I'm sorry, Rupert, but today's page is completely filled.
Right, tear it out.
Now, look, Rupert...
It's your fault, George. You were the one who didn't remember until after the divorce that my ex-wife still had a stake in my company.
If you remember, Rupert, you gave Diana those shares against my advice.
Yes, when we were just married, still gazing into each other's eyes, getting to bed before the 9 o'clock news. In those days, I'd have given Diana my stamp album and my teddy bear if she'd asked me. You'd have taken the advice of a fusty old fool when Winchmore Hill was alive with the sound of music.
Fusty old fool, eh? Well, I must say, Rupert, you certainly know how to ask a favour.
Yeah, well, I asked her a favour last night in the romantic, candlelit atmosphere of Gino's, as you yourself suggested. I offered her a cheque for her shares. I didn't tell her, naturally, that I needed her shares so as to expand Bannister bathroom fittings into Bannister bathroom design, but she'd found out somehow.
I see. And what happened?
She ate her way through the entire menu and then told me she wanted to hang on to the ruddy shares. This is life and death. Do you want to continue handling my affairs, or will you settle for reading my will?
Has the chap back in your expansion pulled out?
Matheson, not yet, no, but he's bound to, isn't he? My ex-wife holding 30% of the shares. Hardly a cosy basis for business expansion. Have you still got that bottle of brandy hidden behind those ledgers?
It's only 10:15.
Imagine I'm up to my neck in snow and you're a St. Bernard.
Well, I think maybe there's half a bottle left.
That might be enough.
Does your mistress, new friend...
Pamela,
does she know that Diana's got shares in the firm?
Good grief, no. She'd go up the wall.
Well, if she went up the wall and over the wall, it might be the best thing. You know, Rupert, I cannot for the life of me understand why you gave up Diana for her.
I'd prefer your brandy to your sermon, George. I wouldn't call this Napoleon.
Neither would Napoleon. I keep that for my oldest clients.
Good grief. What do you keep for the newcomers? Surgical spirit?
The surgical spirit I keep for myself. Days like this, it's quick, fairly painless, and I'm told that one departs this life singing Nellie Dean. Yes?
Mr. Bannister's secretary on the line.
Your factory.
Hello.
Miss Phillips here. Just to tell you, Mrs. Bannister has rung and she's on her way to the factory.
Mrs. Bannister?
Your wife, sir. Your ex-wife. The one you divorced yesterday.
I'm perfectly well aware of whom I divorced yesterday, thank you, Miss Phillips. What do you mean she's on her way?
Well, she rang to speak to you, sir, and seemed rather surprised that you weren't here already and said to expect her in her official capacity.
Her official capacity?
As co-director.
Co-director?
Well, since you hadn't instructed us...
No, thank you, Miss Phillips. Let me think. Look, if she arrives before I get back, deflect her.
Do what to her, sir?
Deflect her. Give it to Fred. Let him take her on a tour of the lavatory bowl section.
What if she's seen a lavatory bowl before, sir?
Well, get Fred to show her the matching non-jam toilet roll holder.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. This is worse than before.
Oh, surely not.
Diana's not only holding on to her shares, she's joining the business.
Look, as a shareholder, she's perfectly...
Yes, but I'll never get those shares back from her if she starts taking interest in the firm. I mean, I've got to find some way of discouraging her. Oh, come on, George. You're probably charging me for this liquid butane gas, so advise me how to do that.
Well, as you say, discouragement. You say she's never taken any interest in the firm before.
No, she only ever used to turn up when some senior employee was getting his gold watch and getting smashed on cheap sherry.
Right. Make out that running Bannister bathroom fittings is sheer hell on earth, not a bed of roses.
Roses, yes. Send her back to her job in the flower shop.
Discourage her.
Discourage her, yes. Well done, George. But I suggested discouragement.
Did you?
Full bottle next time, George.
When'll that be, I wonder?
Tea time, perhaps.
I fear the order of the day has to be discouragement of my ex-wife's newfound ambition for business life.
Oh, what a shame, Mr. Bannister. I've always admired her, you know, in happier days. A lovely face.
Gladys, there is more to marriage than good bone structure.
Well, I was always sorry we never used to see her round here more.
Now we shall probably be seeing too much of her.
But why,
There's
Mr.
no time to
Bannister?
explain. It's all for the good of the firm. Now, my ex-wife simply must be disabused of the notion that business life is a gentle march between the boardroom cocktail cabinet and the Savoy Grill. Now, when she's here, I want you all to work hard. Work harder than you ever worked before.
I couldn't work.
Pass it on to your colleagues. Whenever they see her, I want everything done at 5 times the speed and 10 times the noise. Imagine that the auditors are at the door and Mrs. Phillips has mislaid $500,000.
Good heavens!
Gladys, you absolutely bombard me with telephone calls.
Right.
Fred, you run about.
Run.
All right, stagger about. With as many files as you can carry this side of a hernia.
Mr. Bannister, may we inquire why?
Yes, Miss Phillips, you may. If my ex-wife once gets the business bug, life will never be the same again.
But I would have described Mrs. Bannister as more the domesticated type, sir.
Would you? Personally, I can see her turning into a Joan Crawford part before my very eyes.
She'll soon get bored, sir.
I haven't got time to wait for her to get bored. Why do you think Mr. Matheson was here yesterday? Because I want to expand the business. Thank you. I want to design personalised bathrooms, not just provide them with floral toothbrush holders. Right.
Oh, I've never had a personalised bathroom.
Oh, Gladys, of course you haven't. In your 4th floor bed-sitter in the Australian quarter of Earl's Court.
I've seen pictures, though. They've all fresh flowers and fruit everywhere.
Yes, they do.
I tried it at our place once, you know. Only the steam killed the flowers and one of the tenants ate the fruit.
Thank you, Gladys.
Hello? Is there
There she
anybody
is now.
around?
Discouragement, remember. Rush about, make plenty of noise.
All right.
Oh, hello, Gladys. How are you?
Well, I'm not
She's
feeling
in a
too...
hell of a rush.
Oh, yes. I'm in a hell of a rush.
Excuse me, mustache. And I'll try.
I'm sorry, Diana, this isn't a social club. It's a grindstone to which we must all keep our noses pressed.
How very uncomfortable. Well, actually, I just...
Excuse me. Hello?
Hello, it's Gladys.
Good morning, Sir John. Could I call you back? Yes, I generally snatch 10 minutes for a sandwich at 1:30. Would that be convenient? Thank you so much. Now then, Diana...
Well, actually, I just thought I'd call on my business partner and...
Excuse me. Hello?
It's Gladys again.
Not now, then.
and ask how's business.
Ah, Fred, well done. Thank you. Anywhere will do.
Work or exercise?
It's work. This is a machine in which every cog must run smoothly. The pace is killing.
It was certainly killing him.
You wouldn't last a moment.
Hello, it's Sir John.
Gladys.
Would you kindly leave my office? I'm sure you must have something desperately urgent to do, like buying half a pound of butter or getting your hair done.
Excuse me.
Certainly, Miss Phillips.
Bannister. Oh, excuse me, Mrs. Bannister. There's more stuff for your urgent case.
Thank you.
Just excuse me. If I could take these with me, then I think we're all right.
Those are the ones that you've just taken out.
Diana, you see how your presence here is disrupting the smooth flow of my business organization?
Hello? Oh, no, I'm so sorry. No, but Mr. Bannister and I will be snatching 10 minutes for a quick sandwich at 1:30. Could you phone again then? Thank you.
Who was that?
Your mistress. Now then, Rupert, you know I've had a tour of the works, and I met a man I think you ought to know about.
Diana.
His name is Hastings. He's not on the staff, of course, but he was most interested...
You're not on the staff either.
I've got shares. When I think of the tycoon years I've wasted...
Tycoon?
Watch out, Christina Onassis.
Would you kindly remember that we are divorced? Divorce is a legal process designed by legal experts to separate a husband and wife totally, not glue them together again inside a factory.
Good heavens, Rupert, that sounds vaguely obscene.
Yes, well, it is obscene. It's virtually against nature. Just as when you and I once declared before a reverend gentleman that we would stay together till death did us part.
Yes, but you didn't wait for death, did you? Your secretary got in first.
Oh, ha. Yes, Gladys.
Mr. Matheson on the line, sir.
Oh, my God. It's Mr. Matheson.
Right, well, I'll just take a stroll around our organisation and see if I can think of something we could feature in an advert. Oh, that reminds me, a model agency gave me some pictures of some girls. Would you like to see them?
No, I would not.
Well, at your leisure, then. Oh, and by the way, a television commercial is right out. 2,000 a minute.
Gladys, put through Mr. Matheson, please.
Can you believe it? £2,000 to show something while people are making a cup of tea or spending a penny.
Hello.
Oh, Mr. Matheson, good morning.
Well, is it a good morning? You promised to ring back about your ex-wife's shareholding.
What? Ah, yes,
Well, have you obtained it from her yet?
Well,
As I told you, we simply can't consider contributing to the expansion of your firm when a large percentage of it is in the hands of what I'm presumably right in describing as a hostile party.
Hostile is right. No, it isn't. No. The negotiations are proceeding. I've offered her a cheque for her shares, and she's considering it.
You mean she's totally intractable?
Yes. No. Well, just for the moment, but I have high hopes.
I'm sorry, Mr. Bannister. I must bid you good day.
Look, Mr. Matheson, I'm quite sure that Bannister bathroom design is still a viable proposition. Yes, Gladys?
He's gone, Mr. Bannister.
What? Thank you, Gladys. Yes, Gladys?
I couldn't help overhearing, sir. I'm sorry, all your plans have gone down the drain.
Thank you, Gladys. Thank you very much. Yes, Gladys?
Never mind, sir. We'll still jog along.
Yes, Gladys, we'll contrive to keep jogging. Pamela!
I came here looking for one person, but I see you've organised a harem.
Hello, darling.
Rupert, I am not, by nature, a suspicious person. But your conduct over the last 24 hours is enough to make a saint hire a private detective.
Pamela.
Last night, when we should have been celebrating our engagement, you wined and dined your ex-wife.
Yes, it was business.
And if I recognised her voice correctly on the phone, she has moved back into your life again today.
She just dropped in for a moment, tying a loose end, a dustpan and brush sort of job.
Oh, hello, Pam. Oh, Rupert, did you get a chance to look at the girls?
Pamela?
Hello, Rupert. But I shan't stay long. Gladys said you'd left early.
How did you get in?
Still got my keys.
Ah.
Pamela's not here, eh?
Are you surprised after this morning?
Well, I did ring a couple of times to check. Oh, I thought you'd appreciate this more than a bouquet.
Hmm?
Oh, Gladys also told me about what happened with Mr. Matheson.
Ah.
But I had no idea. If only you could bring yourself to tell the total truth, darling.
Yes, well, thank you, but there was no need for that.
I'll crack it with Pamela. I'm so sorry, Rupert. But when Pamela told me you were expanding, well, I had no idea that my shares could scuttle the whole project. Why didn't you tell me?
I was trying to get them off you cheaply.
Oh, Rupert. You're so sexy when you're honest. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry. Even after 2 years, I can't quite... Sorry. I'm also sorry about putting you through rather a lot of hoops yesterday.
Oh, well.
But this morning at the office, I wasn't just trying to bait you. I was genuinely thrilled that I could take an active part in the business. I mean, I told you about that man this morning, Mr. Hastings.
Yes.
He seemed quite interested.
Yes, Diana, sorry, it's been a hard day and a very disappointing one. I doubt if we'll get such a good chance for expansion again. Anyway, thanks for the apology. It's never an easy thing to do.
Cheers.
Cheers. Oh, sorry. What do you have?
Oh, well, just a quick one, lovely. Oh, I always used to say that, do you remember?
Yes, it was never quick and it was never just the one.
But it was lovely.
A vodka and martini?
Well, as I'm driving, it had better be a soft one.
Soft?
Just the martini.
Ah.
Nothing seems to have changed much.
What?
Pamela hasn't exactly stamped her personality on my late home.
Oh, Diana, I do think it would be better if we didn't start...
Unless you count this. Had they run out of goldfish at the fun fair?
Diana!
Maybe the bedroom looks different.
Dry martini.
Sweet.
What?
The martini.
Oh, sorry.
That's all right. We're level on apologies now.
Apologies?
I've apologized to you and you've apologized to me.
Oh, I see.
Dead level on apologies.
Let's drink to that, eh?
As opposed to the halcyon days when we were dead level. Horizontally. Cheers.
Cheers.
Do you miss the old days ever?
Diana, I do think this is dangerous ground.
We've been over the dangerous ground. We both headed for the nearest quagmire and sank without trace. Do you?
Well, of course I miss the old days. The old days.
Before events overtook, as they say.
Yes, quite. But, Diana, I do think it'd be better
Yes, yes, of course. I shan't harp on. I shan't hang on either. At your office. Oh, it was fun for a moment, that Onassis feeling. But I think I'm better suited to the flower shop than the boardroom.
You mean you'll let me have your shares back?
I'll put them in the post.
Thanks. And I'll send you a cheque.
Yes, I could do with the money.
Yes, well, and thanks for the champagne.
It's a pity you've nothing to celebrate.
Can't win them all.
So I've noticed. Oh, I must give you back your keys.
Ah. Yeah.
What's the joke?
Just reminded me of another occasion concerning keys.
What?
Well, that peculiar party we went to ages ago, you remember somebody suggested a bit of wife swapping.
Yes, well, we'd all had a little bit
all
too
the
much.
husbands had to throw their keys on the floor, and whoever's keys the wives picked up.
Yes, well, we wouldn't have
They
gone through
had to
with
go
it.
off with the owner of the keys.
Good night, Rupert.
And you picked up my keys. Sorry, Diana. Look, don't forget to post those shares, and then you can invest in something you really do understand, like a facial or bust firming treatment.
Are you suggesting that my bust needs a lift?
Good Lord, I haven't seen that area for years.
And you never will again.
Well, thank you for small mercies.
Good Lord, I wish I had picked up someone else's keys that night. At least he'd have cut his toenails.
Carolyn!
I heard that.
Well, everybody else knows. Why shouldn't you? You've overchoked it again. You always overchoke it.
Oh, shut up.
Don't keep doing that, you fool. You're flooding it.
Listen, it's my car.
That's why it's permanently overchoked.
Perhaps after seeing you, choking is the first thing I think of.
Have a good trip. Hello?
Mr. Bannister?
Speaking?
Oh, my name is Hastings. I'm awfully sorry to beard you at home, but your secretary gave me your number because neither you nor Mrs. Bannister were available.
Mrs. Bannister?
Yes, well, she and I met this morning at your factory. To be perfectly frank, I was having a little private snoop round. Assessing your prospects, as it were. After hearing of the collapse of your plans for expansion. Quite frankly, I was fairly impressed.
Oh, good, good.
Especially with your wife. I assume she is your wife.
Well...
She had some very bright ideas for expansion. In fact, I don't want to seem rude, Mr. Bannister, but it was she that I was particularly wanting to contact.
Ah, well, Mr. Hastings, Mrs. Bannister is only temporary, see?
Oh, really? Well, I think if I were in your shoes, I'd put her on the permanent list.
Yes. Well, I'm sure if you and I met, perhaps tomorrow.
Well, but will Mrs. Bannister be there?
Well, possibly not.
I don't want to sound rude, Mr. Bannister, but I really think, you see, her attitudes and her feelings so exactly match mine that I don't really think I'd be interested if she wasn't going.
Would you hang on a moment? I think she may just have arrived.
Oh, really?
With this month's profit returns. Excuse me.
If you're coming to tell me that my battery is dying, I know it's dying because I'm choking it.
Listen, why don't you leave it for a moment?
What for? To listen to more insults about my bust?
No, certainly not.
And you called me a harridan.
It's only in jest. Now, listen, I've been thinking about tomorrow.
Yes, so have I. Thinking about how marvellous it'll be to get up late and laze around the house.
No.
Instead of being tied down to a crummy little factory.
Crummy? Listen, I just want a quiet chat. Don't do that! Diana, please. Darling, I'm sorry. Hello, Mr. Hastings.
Good Lord, you sound a bit out of breath.
Yes, it's a big house. Look, that wasn't Mrs. Bannister. Could I ring you back about tomorrow?
Well, yes, of course. It's 9400428. Yeah. Tomorrow morning would suit me best.
Fine.
About 10.
I'll be there.
With Mrs. Bannister?
With Mrs. Bannister. Like a cup of tea?
Do you run a mini motorway station?
Oh, no, it's just for old time's sake.
Old time's sake?
Hmm.
The last time we discussed old times, you accused me of losing you a place in the wife swap.
Oh, hello, Mrs. Randall. Well, that was charming. Not that you were to know, were you? How about that cup of tea?
I don't want any more happy memories cropping up.
Or another martini.
Not before driving.
Well, you can't bloody drive, can you? Because your battery's flat. It is flattish. And I've got some jump leads.
I don't feel like skipping.
Skipping? You see, these jump leads connect my battery to your battery, and then my battery can start your car. And then on your way home, you can recharge your battery.
All right.
They're indoors.
I'll wait.
Well, you've got to wait, haven't you? Because you could help me look.
Don't you know where they are?
Not certain, no. Well, they've been tided away. If anybody knows where things that have been tided away too, then you know every little nook and cranny. Oh, hell's bells. You surely don't need... Oh, a jolly good idea. Can't be too careful. Now, let me think. Where did I last see them? That was quick.
You ought to keep them in your car.
Ah, yes. Well, seeing you were so quick. Diana, how about that cuppa? No, Diana, I would appreciate the chance of a word.
We've had words. You reminded me about the wife swap.
Yes, well, I would like you to call in occasionally.
At the factory?
Yeah, just occasionally. For, you know, a lady's eye view, as it were.
That's not the impression you gave.
No, well, we all speak hastily sometimes, don't we? Perhaps, tomorrow.
No, I can't...
You've got to. I mean, I'd like you to.
Well, I'm sorry, Rupert, but tomorrow...
Well, I'll tell you what, let's discuss this over that cup of tea, shall we? I'll put the kettle on.
Oh, I'll take that.
Oh, thank you.
Hello?
Yeah, Mr. Bannister, please.
Oh, yes, just a moment.
Oh, that's not Mrs. Bannister, is it?
Yes.
Oh, good. Because I've just been telling your husband how interested I am in your ideas. And the three of us are going to meet tomorrow.
Oh, are we?
Yeah, oh, this is John Hastings. We met this morning.
Oh, yes, of course. Hello.
Yeah, we agreed 10 o'clock. I was ringing to say, could it be past? Would that be all right?
Yes, I'm sure it would be.
Yes, but would it be all right with you?
For me?
Well, I told your husband, there's no point in my meeting him without meeting you.
No point without me. I see.
No, of course not. Bye.
Goodbye.
The kettle's nearly boiling. Who was that?
Oh, a heavy breather.
It took a long time.
Yes, well, he had the wrong number. You said you wanted me tomorrow.
Yes. Well, yes.
But is there any reason why you particularly wanted me tomorrow?
No.
No, I see.
No, it's not urgent.
Nothing special.
I just thought if you'd like to look in.
I see. Well, I did say I was busy.
I want you to look in.
Oh, the royal command. Well, all right, I'll be there tomorrow, then.
You will. Thank Diana. There may be someone else there.
Oh, really? Who?
Well, you may remember him. You met him this morning.
Oh, did I?
Very briefly. Very briefly, he may not remember you.
No, of course not.
No, but he is interested.
In you?
In the company.
Just the company?
Yes. So I thought it'd be nice if we could put on a united front.
Well, you can't be united on your own.
No.
No.
So
I'll just be sort of, well, window dressing.
That's right, yes.
Your right-hand woman.
Yes, just for the day.
Oh, quite.
And then the odd morning.
Just pop in.
That's right, show your face.
Yes.
Yes, well, let's drink to that. And then we'll fix those jump leads. Now then, I'll leave my engine running.
Oh, now try the starter.
No, I'll do it.
Sorry.
Well...
You're the expert?
Yes, I am.
Well, today you are.
Hmm?
I'll be the expert tomorrow. When Mr. Hastings calls.
What?
That's who was on the phone, the heavy breather. Only he didn't breathe. He just said that he wanted me there tomorrow because he liked my ideas. I only tell you this because I don't want you to think of me as just window dressing.
You left it in gear.
Yours is worse than mine. Shall I give you a lift to the office tomorrow?